You're listening to KUNT. Do unto others as you would have done unto you, treating people the way you want to be treated. This simple lesson I learned by the age of 2. So why are manners becoming increasingly scarce? Today, I'm talking about why common courtesy is so uncommon on the next Toward Intentions, and next is now. Today's society is so impatient that our manners are coming at a price. Hello everybody, welcome to Toward Intentions. I'm your host, Austin Fox. Common courtesy is increasingly uncommon. In a 2011 survey, researchers Corinne Perroth and Christine Pearson found that 50% of workers experienced rudeness at least once per week in the workplace. That's up 25% from 1998. Not surprisingly, they also found that rudeness comes at a cost that can be measured at the bottom line. So what does rudeness look like? Well, it could range from subtle things like eye-rolling to outrageous things like berating a person. Here are some examples. Gossiping and talking behind someone's back, giving people the silent treatment, interrupting someone when they are speaking, leaving trash and food containers in common areas, excluding people from projects or meetings even though they should, by role and responsibilities, be included, not respecting someone else's time, and speaking to someone in a condescending way. All of these examples of rudeness are forms of disrespect. A pastor friend of mine once said that giving someone the silent treatment is the relational equivalent of saying, "I don't respect and care enough about you to even talk to you." Based on Paul's description of love in 1 Corinthians, we know that love is not rude. The word Paul uses for rude is closely related to another Greek word that means without proper form. In his letter to Titus, Paul explains how we are to treat one another by telling church leaders to remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, and to avoid quarreling, to be gentle and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. I find it interesting that in this list of reminders, Paul connects our readiness for good work to being gentle and showing courtesy toward all people. When we are not gentle and courteous, as Perroth and Pearson found in their research, it can have a serious impact on our otherwise good work. Common courtesy is so uncommon that it's actually considered to be charismatic. In my research for this story, I came across a study called Leadership Charisma, in which almost 400,000 employed persons worldwide were surveyed to see what charismatic leaders did that engaged those who worked for them to be much more productive. There were lots of factors. One of those was common courtesy. The one clear constant that I found during my researching is that one of the easiest ways to impact and captivate your peers is to simply practice basic good manners. Here are 6 simple behaviors you should be practicing that will have an enormous impact upon the quality of the relationship you enjoy with the people around you. Sorry seems to be the hardest word that people don't often say or don't say at all. There is nothing more powerful than someone owning up when they are wrong. If you offend someone or speak inappropriately crossly with them or argue incorrectly against the merits of their case, indeed, you have offended them, at which point you need to apologize. Be bigger than the majority. Don't hide behind weak self-justifications. If the offense was committed in public, then the apology should be in public. If it happens in private, then it can be in private. Such honesty is extremely charismatic. Be responsive. Everyone is too busy to respond instantly to every email that they receive. But if you receive a message about something that you know is important to someone, then simply send a one-line thank you explaining that you've received the note and when you'll be able to respond. This sends a clear message. Your time and concerns are just as important as mine. You want to make someone feel valued, then use please and thank you just a little bit more. For example, could you help me out with something, please? Would you be able to do me a favor? Or please help me figure something out. And no matter what their response is, whether it's yes or no, you always thank them for at least listening to you. You'd be surprised at how far good manners can take you. And when you show gratitude for someone's assistance, they can walk away with their self-esteem in better shape than when they first started talking to you. And that is how you become charismatic to them. holding your tongue in pressure of a heated moment. Any of us can get so caught up in the emotional whirlwind of an argument or disagreement that we find ourselves saying something that we normally wouldn't. The problem is with this particular bell, once it's been rung, it can't be unrung. You can't take back what you've already said. So, ultimately, it's better not to say anything in the first place. If the heated exchange is coming in writing, then disengage yourself from it before the emotion carries you away. Turn around, turn the monitor off, put your phone down, take 5. If it's a one-on-one situation, then seek to create an opportunity for each party to walk away and reconsider their positions with a view to trying to reach an accommodation acceptable to both parties later on. Dale Carnegie taught that you should write out all you would like to say and then put it away in a drawer overnight. This cooling off period can give you valuable perspective that may not be apparent in the heat of the moment. This last principle is particularly true of disagreements that escalate over an email. Email is a wonderfully instantaneous communications medium, but sometimes it seems like the positives of the medium are outweighed by the negatives. Email communication tends to be open to miscommunication because of the instantaneous manner of its exchange. All can be said with text messaging. It's hard to put an emotion behind letters when there's no voice. So before the emotions get the best of you, before you put something on pad, paper, or screen and press send, stop yourself and think about the other person. Is this something they would say? And if you know the person, you know what they sound like in your head. And can you picture the person saying what they're saying on screen in their voice? I know 9 times out of 10, at least for me, if I put the other person's voice in my head that I'm speaking to, I can almost hear what they're saying. I can almost hear their voice as a voiceover, kind of. And sometimes it's not them. It's not how they mean to say it. So notice how I said sometimes. It's that sometimes that'll get you into trouble. So disengage from it. Understand that common courtesy comes from an inner strength. Cultivate the habit of behaving courteously towards those around you and watch the way they engage with you so much more completely. So to be kept up to date on this or any previous show, log on to www.theaustinfox.com and find the Toward Intentions link and subscribe, or find and follow me on any of the major social medias at The Austin Fox. And as always, feel free to drop me a message to towardintentions@gmail.com. I will leave you with this final thought. You know, through the years, I have learned many lessons, and at my age now, I'm just starting to realize that the best answers are usually the simplest ones. Love thy neighbor as you would love thyself. Till next time, Austin Fox saying, whatever your intention, just make sure it's a toward intention. So long, everybody.